This is the House Planet Mortgage Podcast. Our goal is to share everything you need to know about holiday let mortgages and spotlight some of the leading products on the market. In today's show, we'll be outlining the key differences between buy-to-let and holiday let products with Beth Taylor from House and Holiday Home Mortgages. If you need any mortgage support, get in touch with Beth and the team at Triple H Mortgages today. They offer an unrivaled service whether you're looking for your first holiday let loan, a remortgage, or any other product such as residential, buy-to-let, or HMO. To get in touch with the team, call 01453 887179 or email hello@hhhmortgages.com. You can also visit the website for further details, hhhmortgages.com/host-planet. Welcome to the House Planet Mortgage Podcast. Today we're going to outline the key differences between buy-to-let and holiday-let mortgages. And with me to discuss this topic is Beth Taylor from House and Holiday Home Mortgages. How's it going, Beth?
Hi, James. Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Excited about this. So, key differences between buy-to-let and holiday-let products. So, take it away with key difference number one.
Yeah, absolutely. So as with just the whole mortgage industry, there's so much nuance and there's so many different variables. So of course, all of this comes with the caveat that it's worth taking advice because, you know, even kind of off the sort of the top 5 tips that I've got here, there's going to be sort of more variables, more details to go into. But yeah, starting with the first one, it's that there's, when you're looking at comparing holiday let mortgages to buy-to-let mortgages, you do get a greater number of lenders available who just do your standard buy-to-let. There are a smaller pool of lenders who would do a holiday let product, but there are definitely plenty out there. So it's just about sort of identifying who's going to be able to lend in that particular area and things like that. So yeah, it's more kind of a concentrated market to shop from, essentially.
Yeah, good point. I mean, buy-to-let obviously is a lot more popular. Why is it that there are just a smaller number of holiday let lenders? What's the reason for that?
Yeah, I guess where buy-to-let has been just a massive market over the past, few decades, whereas holiday lets have been more kind of few and far between. So now that they are becoming more popular, and there's an argument to be made as to they could be more profitable. Potentially, we'll see more lenders actually go into that and flood the market a little bit more, which would be good because if there's more availability, more supply than demand, then hopefully that will bring rates down. But of course, just traditionally people have sort of identified buy-to-let. That's where I'll go and invest my money, rather than going down the holiday let route. That is my opinion.
We're all for bringing rates down. So if we get more players in the sector, that sounds like good news. Then, so key difference number 2.
Yeah, key difference number 2. So with buy-to-let properties, I don't think I've come across a buy-to-let mortgage product that allows the owner to go and stay in the property at any point. Whereas with holiday lets, you do have sort of a certain amount of personal usage, which is really good, particularly if you are an expat and you want to kind of come back into the UK, visit family, things like that, and you want to kind of be able to get a bit of personal use out of the property as well. Whereas, you're not going to get that with a buy-to-let property.
And that's exactly why I bought a holiday let, because I was living out in Qatar for 10 years and I knew with a buy-to-let product that I can't kick the tenants out 3 or 4 times a year. But with a holiday let, I can block out exactly when I need to come back and use the property. So you have that flexibility that you definitely don't get with other property investment.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you're not an expat, if you've got a lovely property down in Cornwall, up in the Lake District or somewhere really beautiful, you're going to want to use it yourself, aren't you, from time to time? So yeah, that's a definite benefit there.
Exactly. So key difference number 3.
Yeah, sure. So number 3, we touched briefly upon interest rates. And that's not kind of, that every broker will tell you that's not the be all and end all when it comes to securing a mortgage product. But with holiday let products, they do tend to carry a slightly higher interest rate. Having said that, you might find that the lower interest rates come with a bigger product fee or arrangement fee. So it's not always, that one's 3% versus that one's 5%. You've got to think about what other costs are involved. And again, that's where an advisor will come in really handy, because they'll be able to make those comparisons and advise you accordingly.
Yeah, the holiday let products unfortunately tend to be a little bit more expensive than buy to let products. But I guess this comes down to holiday let being seen as a little bit more niche, and I guess from the lender's point of view, a slightly riskier investment in inverted commas, because with buy to let you have the tenants in, you'd expect them to be in all the time and paying the rent all the time, whereas holiday lets is a bit more variable.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got things like, maybe a greater risk of sort of void periods, if that's kind of a concern for the lender, or there might be sort of, damage to the property, things like that. So yeah, it does definitely carry a greater risk. But as we said earlier, the potential uplift in income, that's bound to kind of be the case, isn't it? If it's usually a higher risk, higher reward, it tends to be the case, doesn't it?
Good way of looking at it. Okay, then, so key difference number 4.
Yeah, sure. So I think you might have touched upon this briefly in a previous podcast with my colleague Joe, but it's around the income assessment. So I know that, with a buy-to-let mortgage income assessment, that tends to be looking at, the monthly rent and kind of what sort of what income cover ratio the lender will be looking at in respect of that. Whereas with a holiday let affordability assessment, 9 times out of 10, it will be an average of the weekly income over the course of a low, medium and high season income. Now, there are some lenders who would use a buy-to-let affordability assessment, for a holiday let still. So you have got a bit of variation there if it benefits you to use that. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, as I say, the holiday let income tends to be sort of the higher out of the two options anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And usually when you're applying for a holiday let mortgage, the lender wants you to provide something from an agency. It might be like Sykes Holiday Cottages, for example, giving you a projection of what you're likely to earn. And if they do base it on the buy to let revenue, that's potentially not great, because usually, like you were saying before, the holiday let income tends to be a lot higher than what the buy to let income would be.
Yeah, absolutely. And, what you said there about kind of using a holiday let agent such as Sykes to give you that estimation, that's actually a really good thing. If you're looking to buy a property, as to use as a holiday let, you're going to want to know for your own, for your own purposes, that it's going to be worthwhile as an investment. So yeah, that's a really good point. It satisfies the lender's requirements, but also it's going to be really good for you to have that information as well.
Yeah, definitely. You want to make sure you're making a profit, ideally, in this game. Okay, then, Beth. So, 5th and final key difference between buy-to-let and holiday-let products.
Yeah, sure. So, number 5. I mean, not really specific to mortgage applications, but I mean, it does definitely, it is something that they will assess. Is all about location. So, obviously, there are people renting in almost every corner of the UK. So you're going to, might not always have the demand that gets you the highest rent, but you will quite often have tenants looking in whatever area you're looking to have a standard buy-to-let in. With holiday lets, they're not always going to be available for lending in every area of the UK. So again, we spoke earlier about sort of, the lovely parts of the UK like Cornwall, the Lake District, the Cotswolds, things like that, where that there's going to always be a really high demand for tourism. And then you've got some of the cities as well. So for instance, Bath, which is near where I'm sort of based, you've got, there's always different events on, festivals, things like that. It's a very romantic place to visit as well. So you're always going to find that if you've got a holiday let there, the demand is usually going to be quite high. Whereas I'm not going to kind of name and shame any sort of less desirable places to visit, of course, but that you might find that there's less of a demand in other parts of the UK. So that is going to really restrict you when it comes to finding and buying a property, but it's also going to restrict you on the lending on that property as well. So the lender will want to see, is this going to be viable as a holiday let? Is there an attraction nearby? Is it a lovely city or a lovely part of the countryside or coast that people will actually want to visit? And therefore, is it going to make a sound investment there?
Yeah, the lender's looking to make sure that you're going to make some money from it. And the podcast about the 10 places where you definitely shouldn't invest in the UK, we'll save that one for a later date. We'll leave that one for now.
I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay then, Beth. So those great 5 key differences there. So obviously there are more buy-to-let products out there than holiday let products. You've got the advantage that you can use the holiday let yourself. You are going to pay a little bit of a higher rate, usually with a holiday let product than a buy to let. The income assessment is a little bit different, as we were saying, because usually lenders will look at the low, medium and high season, and location is very important. Finally then, Beth, so how's the market looking right now, and what are the best products available approximately for holiday let mortgages right now?
Yeah, so it's been a bit of an interesting year this year. Obviously, we've seen the base rate come down quite a bit. We've seen swap rates kind of both go down and go up. There was a period sort of earlier on in the year where for a number of consecutive weeks, we did see fixed rates coming down quite consistently, whereas over the past month or so, they have sort of taken a turn in the opposite direction. So I never like to kind of, state interest rates just because, as I say, there's such a lot of variables, for the different kind of loan to value brackets and the types of property and the different lenders available. But yeah, always going to be, as you'd expect to hear from an advisor, take advice and that's how you're going to get the most accurate sort of recommendations there.
Makes a lot of sense. And if people want to get in touch with you and the team at House and Holiday Home Mortgages, where do they go?
Yeah, sure. So, just pop into Google, House and Holiday Home Mortgages or Triple H Mortgages. We're on Instagram and Facebook as well. And then a few of us brokers have got their own kind of individual social media pages as well. So I'm on Instagram as @YourBrokerBeth. So you can find me on there. And I try and do kind of a few informative videos every week and try and kind of help my followers along. But yeah, we're come out quite highly on Google when you pop our name in there or search for holiday let mortgages there.
Fantastic. And we'll put all those details in the show notes along with your Instagram link. Beth, it's been a real pleasure. Thanks for joining us on the Host Planet Mortgage podcast.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure being here. Thanks very much for inviting me along.
All right, that's it for today's Host Planet Mortgage podcast. My thanks to Beth for joining us on this month's show. To get in touch with Beth and the team at Triple H Mortgages, call 01453 887179 or email hello@hhhmortgages.com. You can also visit the website for further details, hhhmortgages.com/host-planet. Until next time, happy hosting.